Before the following video started to film, a woman began noticing something unsettling in her home, the distinct sound of footsteps going up and down her stairs at random times. At first, she thought it might be her house settling, or maybe a neighbor outside, but the pattern was too deliberate, too heavy to dismiss. Immediately, determined to find out what was causing it, she started filming.
I keep hearing somebody walk up and down my stairs, but there is obviously nobody there. There's nothing there. And it keeps coming up and down, up and down.
The sounds continued, loud and heavy, echoing through the stairwell as if someone invisible was running up and down. She called out a few times, but there was no response, no sign of movement other than the creaks beneath the unseen steps. The camera pans toward the stairs, clearly showing they're empty, yet the noises persist. Each step seems to press down hard, then stop, then start again. Her breathing grows uneasy as she realizes there's no logical explanation. Nobody else is home, no pets, no people, just those haunting footsteps stomping endlessly. The same woman, still shaken from the footsteps she'd heard days earlier, decided to keep her phone close just in case the noises returned. One evening, while relaxing in her living room, she began hearing something new. It was a deep, metallic scraping echoing from beneath her floor. It sounded slow, deliberate, and heavy, like something heavy and metal dragging across the floor. Take a look.
Guys, and if you hear it, this is exactly what I'm talking about. See, there's nothing out of place over here. There's nobody down here. I'm home alone. Like, there's nothing that should be making that noise. Nothing. I have no idea. This keeps happening. I'll hear this every now and again. But I do not want to be down here right now. I do not want to be down here. I just wanted to show you guys.
She made her way to the basement door, hesitating for a few seconds before opening it. As soon as she flicked the light switch on, the noise stopped completely. The basement fell silent, unnaturally so, as if whatever had been making the sound froze the moment she arrived. She stepped down the creaking steps and scanned the room, her eyes flickering everywhere, but everything was perfectly still. No pipes moving, no tools fallen over, no sign of life. She rushed back upstairs, locking the door behind her. Later, she said she would rather not enter the basement again, and there's no way you would either. Samantha was suddenly jolted awake at around 4 in the morning by strange noises echoing through her room. Still half asleep, but unnerved, she grabbed her phone, turned on the flashlight, and decided to start recording. Wanting people to see it live in case something truly happened, she began streaming on Facebook, a detail that would later prove the footage wasn't edited when it was re-uploaded to YouTube.
there's them up. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, fuck that shit. What the fuck? What's that? What's up there? What's them? What's that light? Oh, it's out of my charge. Please, it's out of my charge. Oh, them up things fucking.
At first, everything seemed still, but a small orb drifted across the screen, faint but noticeable against the darkness. Samantha's breathing grew heavier as she whispered into the phone, mentioning what she saw. Just as she steadied her camera toward her wardrobe, a loud thud made her jump, signifying that something had fallen from the very top shelf with no visible cause. The stream immediately started being filled up with comments from people watching live, telling her to get out of the room. She panned the camera again, showing the fallen object on the floor, her voice trembling. In the aftermath, Samantha said she hadn't touched that shelf in weeks, and the item that fell was wedged firmly behind other boxes. Since that night, she's been too scared to sleep with the lights off, claiming the noises still return around the same time every morning. A Russian man had set out to explore what locals called an abandoned military bunker deep in the wilderness, a place rumored for years to be haunted by the spirits of those who never made it out. The entrance was a tunnel-like structure, half buried in dirt and stone, with air so still it felt untouched for decades.
Сейчас направляемся на поиски военной секретной заброшенной базы. Там, в лесу такие вот заброшки. Интересно сейчас найти эту базу. Так, идем. Она здесь здоровая, блин, эти дороги такие. Куча этих развилок. Будем направляться потихоньку. Вот, ребята, посмотрите. Подошли уже, нашли наконец-то эту военную секретную базу. Здесь никто не снимал еще, не лазил. И очень интересно самому и ребятам. Посмотрите, какие уже ангары. Так, очень опасно, чтобы не обвалилось. Пошли, ребята. Такие вот здания, помещения. Я думаю, достаем фонарик мой. Я взял. Все. О, смотрите, как классно светит. Ангар такой арочный. В лесу уже, видно, в земле заныканный. Такая вот была здесь военная база. Посмотрите, какой ангар, ребята. Прикольно, что-то новенькое. И там много таких ангаров. Прикольно, ребята, давно не было у меня таких приключений. Типа сталка. Здесь, ребята, жутковато. Потому что здесь, блин, куча этих волков, зверей всяких. Подходим, идем дальше. Смотреть, Шо как? Вот, ребята, еще такой вот бункер. Фу, территория очень большая. Здесь будет очень тяжело найти эти шахты. Так. Пошли. А вот здесь уже стрёмненько, ребята. Какие-то комнаты. Что это было? Ребята! Фу! Валим! Фу, блин! Там что-то было в том бункере! Жесть просто! Фу! По-моему, кто-то стоит! Валим! Фу, ребята! Фу! Вот это я, блин, нагонялся! Стрёмненько. Такая вот секретная военная база. Еще, блин, кто-то там лазил.
As he stepped inside, his flashlight cut through the heavy darkness, revealing crumbling walls, rusted pipes, and piles of rubble scattered across the ground. He moved carefully through the first few tunnels, whispering his thoughts in Russian, his voice echoing faintly off the concrete. After several minutes, he finally reached an exit that led him back outside into the cold air, the light from the trees almost blinding compared to what he had just come from. But curiosity got the better of him. He made his way to another sector nearby, one even darker and more decayed than the first. The moment he stepped inside, the atmosphere changed instantly to something thicker and heavier. That's when it happened. From the corner of his light, a faint human figure began emerging from a doorway at the end of the hall. He froze for half a second before bolting out of the bunker, the camera shaking as he gasped for breath. Later, he swore he'd never return to that site again, convinced whatever he saw in that tunnel wasn't living. The following video has the context of a man sitting quietly at home when a series of loud bangs began echoing from his garage. At first, he thought it was the wind or maybe something falling from a shelf, but the sounds were too heavy, too deliberate. Grabbing his phone and a flashlight, he went to check it out.
What is that noise?
The moment he entered the garage, the banging grew louder, pounding in quick bursts that made the metal walls tremble. He followed the sound until he realized it wasn't coming from the floor or the walls, it was above him. The attic hatch in the ceiling was moving ever so slightly, the latch trembling as if something was pushing against it from the other side. He stood frozen, watching it shift just enough to make his heart race before the movement suddenly stopped. Gathering his nerve, he reached up and pulled the hatch down, the ladder unfolding with a creak that echoed through the quiet garage. Slowly, he climbed the steps, flashlight in hand, scanning the corners of the attic. Dust, insulation, and old boxes, nothing else. The place was completely empty, but what unsettled him most was the feeling that, even in the silence, something up there was still watching him from the dark. The following evening, as he walked up the path toward his house, every light inside suddenly flicked off at once. The blackout was so abrupt that he immediately pulled out his phone and began recording.
I was walking towards my house, and all the lights suddenly turned off inside. I don't know if my wife's home or not.
He unlocked the door cautiously and stepped inside, using his flashlight to cut through the thick darkness. His voice was tense as he narrated to us, but nobody else was there, and the house stayed eerily silent. Moving slowly from room to room, the beam of his light caught something swaying above the kitchen table, the ceiling light, still moving back and forth like someone had just brushed past it. He stepped closer, audibly getting nervous, but deep down he knew better. From the kitchen, he walked into the garage, hoping maybe his wife had come home early, but her car wasn't there. He was completely alone. That night he packed a small bag and went to stay with a friend, saying he needed space from whatever was happening in that house. He later said he wasn't sure what his next move would be, but one thing was certain. He wouldn't be spending another night there until he had real answers. Late one night, a woman in her car started filming after her dog began whining uncontrollably at the window across the street. The animal's behavior was strange, with its ears pinned back, tail tucked, refusing to move. Curious and uneasy, she aimed her camera across the road toward the house opposite.
No, no es normal eso. Ahí paró. Correte. ¿Qué es lo que hace, no? Sí, porque no es que sube y baja así del...
Through the glass of a vibrantly lit upstairs window, something could be seen moving back and forth at an unnaturally fast pace. The figure's motion was erratic and too smooth to be human, gliding side to side in a blur that didn't match the lighting or the rhythm of a person walking. His dog clearly felt some sort of weird presence, and it was almost as if it could sense something he couldn't. Eventually, the figure finally stopped appearing, but it took way longer than expected. It was roughly 3 hours after the clip ended. To this day, he claims no one lives in that house anymore, and his dog still refuses to go near the window after dark. Ian the Midwest Ghost Hunter, is one of the most subscribed ghost hunters, and this is from his haunted theater experience, the one where so many strange encounters have already taken place. Still determined to uncover more evidence, he swept his camera slowly around the empty room, giving a full 360-degree view of the walls and the curtains that lined them.
Creepy. Ooh, this is one of the creepiest nights I've experienced so far. Mabel, are you still over here? If she peeks up from those curtains, I'm out of here. That's it, I'm running. Oh man, just imagine.
As he zoomed in on one of the far curtains, the footage abruptly cut to another camera angle pointed at a stairway. This time, the shot had zero movement, no shaking. For a few seconds, nothing happened until a faint white mist began to descend the stairs, almost floating down step by step before fading near the bottom. The mist didn't behave like dust or light glare, and Ian himself confirmed there was no fog or smoke in the building that night. Whatever it was, it seemed to have its own form and direction. For those following Ian's journey through this haunted theater, this moment only deepens the mystery. Subscribe so you don't miss what he discovers next. Ashley had set up a camera in her bedroom after weeks of feeling uneasy at home, mostly just to reassure herself that nothing strange was really happening. It wasn't the middle of the night either. This took place around 6 p.m. while she was busy filming other content in another part of the house. Mid-recording, she began hearing noises upstairs. At first, she brushed it off, thinking it might just be her cat moving around, but when the sounds came again, her camera caught this.
Alright, so I'm regretting putting the camera up in this room. I know we did it so we could see if anything happened, but I didn't want to see anything. Okay? And my mom's coming this weekend, so she can't know about this. I was downstairs filming content, and I heard something upstairs, but I was like, it's just Coco. She's not down here. Coco's upstairs playing. All fine. But then I heard it again, and here's what we found. Here's what we caught on the camera. And I'm not okay. I'm either going to be moving this weekend, putting the house up for sale, but I'm not okay. Send help. What do I do?
On the video, her wardrobe door could be seen opening and closing several times on its own. The movements weren't subtle either. It looked deliberate, as if someone or something was trying to get attention. Ashley rushed upstairs, heart pounding, and immediately checked inside the wardrobe. Nothing was there. No animal, no person, nothing that could have caused it. The fact that it all happened in broad daylight only made it scarier for her, and ever since, she's been second-guessing whether she should even stay alone in that house anymore. A man was walking the halls of a hospital late at night, already uneasy because of its reputation for being haunted. The building was almost silent except for his own footsteps, the kind of silence that makes every creak feel louder than it should. He filmed as he explored, narrating quietly and evidently feeling a sense of inner fear.
No mames, güey, necesito que alguien venga, güey. Se escuchan cosas, güey, y... No mames, se escucha la puta regadera, güey, del puto baño, güey. No mames. Necesito que alguien venga, güey, me estoy cagando de miedo, güey, al chile, güey. Oigan, güey. No mames, güey, no prende la puta luz, güey. No mames, Cuchi, güey. No seas ojete, güey. No mames. No mames, güey. Hay alguien, güey. A la verga. No mames. Su puta madre, güey. No mames. No mames. No mames, güey.
As he stepped into one of the bathrooms, the sound of running water echoed from the showers, even though nobody else was supposed to be there. He started calling out to see if anyone was inside, but instead of an answer, he caught something chilling, half of a ghostly face peeking around the corner of the tiled wall. To this day, he swears it was no trick of the light, but something far darker residing in that hospital. Eddie had been dealing with constant knocking around his house for weeks, the kind of sounds that keep you awake at night and make you second-guess every little creak. On this particular night, he finally decided to get up and see what was going on. The video starts as he leaves his bedroom, following the loud banging that echoed through the hallway. He quickly identified the source, the bathroom door, where something was slamming against it. Gathering his nerves, he opened it, but the room was completely empty. He flicked on the lights to be sure, and found nothing out of place. Just as he began to calm down, another sound echoed from the kitchen, which was a heavy thud, like something falling. Rushing over, he discovered an object lying on the floor that hadn't been there seconds before. Breathing hard, he filmed the aftermath, clearly shaken, and later admitted he wasn't sure how much longer he could stay in the house. The following night, Eddie decided to leave a camera running while he tried to sleep, hoping to finally get proof of what was happening. At roughly 2 a.m., the knocking started again, echoing through the hallway in the same relentless rhythm as before. This time, though, the camera also picked up the sound of a cat meowing from nearby. The strange part was that the cat never came into view, even though the sound grew louder as if it was pacing near the bathroom door. The knocking continued in bursts, shaking the silence of the house while the camera rolled, capturing every sound. When Eddie reviewed the footage the next morning, he admitted that the combination of the meows and the knocks felt deeply unsettling, almost like the noises were feeding off each other. It left him thinking about things for sure. Eddie, determined to get more solid evidence, decided to set up a camera downstairs the following morning before heading off to work. He left the TV on quietly in the background, thinking the noise might draw out whatever was causing all the disturbances. Hours later, when he returned and checked the footage, what he saw was enough to send chills down his spine. In the middle of the day, with nobody home, a dark shadow shot across the living room, darting from one side of the frame to the other so quickly it was almost a blur. Moments later, the rug tucked behind the couch was pulled down, flattening itself on the seat, with no explanation. The camera then caught a cupboard door swinging open and closed by itself, followed by the clatter of something falling from the kitchen counter just out of frame. Watching it all back, Eddie admitted this was some of the clearest and most terrifying footage he had ever captured. The fact that it all happened while he wasn't even there made it feel like whatever was haunting the house was growing bolder. He later said he wasn't sure if he wanted to keep setting up cameras because the more he recorded, the worse it seemed to get. The following CCTV footage from inside a busy playhouse seemed ordinary at first, with children laughing and enjoying their time. But then one boy let out a loud scream, his face full of panic, before bolting across to the other side of the playhouse as if he'd seen something none of the others did. A staff member rushed over to check on him, clearly concerned, and entered the small room the boy had fled from.
What happened? Were you in there? Were you in there? No. Who knocked this over? Who knocked this over? Maybe it was just air. Yeah, what was it done? Good. Well, I could have
Just moments later, one of the toy houses in that very room began to tilt over on its own, slowly leaning before crashing down without anyone touching it. The sound startled the kids, sending a wave of upset cries through the playhouse. Watching the clip back, many were disturbed not only by the movement of the toy house, but by the timing. Whatever force was there had chosen to act right in front of children. People online called it an evil presence, saying any spirit willing to scare kids so openly had darker intentions than most. The video quickly spread as viewers argued whether this was a genuine haunting or something staged. But for those who saw the fear on the children's faces, it was hard to dismiss as anything other than real. The staff member who had rushed into the room that day later decided to record a vlog explaining what had really happened. She described the incident in detail, saying that after the toy house fell, she found out what the actual answer was, and it definitely chilled her.
I wanted to quickly show you exactly what it was that was scaring the little kid that my mom was watching. So pretty much, so firstly we have the house, and obviously you guys saw that it fell, but the other thing I wanted to point out was that it's pretty hefty, so it really doesn't make any sense that it would just fall on its own like that. So that's just something I wanted to point out. And this is the room. The crazy thing about this is that there was like markings at the top of the entranceway of like the doorway, and I guess in the video you can see hands gripping onto the doorway. I don't really know what to make of that. I thought at first that it was like bugs or something like that, but it looked almost like two hands like gripping on the top, like leading into this room, just like. But the main thing, and the reason that the little boy was screaming, is actually in here. We have this covered up for a reason. Apparently, the little boy told my mom that he saw a face in these mirrors. We already found someone who's going to take it off our hands and pick it up off Facebook Marketplace, but we have been keeping this room off limits.
It was a set of mirrors that had once been set up for the kids to play with. The boy insisted that while looking into them, he saw strange faces staring back, faces that weren't his, or any of the other children's. According to him, they were twisted, distorted, and watching him until he couldn't take it anymore, which is why he ran screaming. The woman explained that after hearing this, she and the other staff wasted no time covering the mirrors and eventually selling them off, hoping to remove whatever had caused the disturbance. She admitted she'd never seen anything like it before, and that the whole team agreed the boy's reaction had been far too real to be dismissed. The clip added another layer to the story, leaving many to wonder if the mirrors had somehow been tied to the evil presence that showed itself that day. An Asian ghost hunter who goes by The Dark is known for being paid to investigate haunted locations, often venturing into places most wouldn't dare to enter. On one of his recent investigations, he explored a large abandoned facility, carrying only a flashlight and his camera. The atmosphere was already unsettling, with every step echoing in the empty halls, but then something happened that stopped him in his tracks.
حطوا سماعة يا جماعة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات.
Out of nowhere, a sheet lying on the floor suddenly flew upward into the air, as if lifted by unseen hands. The movement was sharp and unnatural, with no sign of wind or explanation for how it happened. He spun around quickly, and in that same moment loud banging noises echoed from deeper inside the building, making the situation even more unnerving. The clip ends with him frozen, torn between going to investigate and retreating, but one thing was certain: the flying sheet was far beyond anything natural. Two sisters had set up a quiet game of chess in the living room, planning to spend the next hour or so laughing and competing against each other. The house was calm, there were no windows open, and nothing felt out of place. But halfway through the match, something caught their attention.
Lleva mucho rato en eso. Déjeme, yo grabo, mi hija, porque Jessy, ¿está venteando o está usted echado acá?
No, todo este chico. Vamos a mirar.
No.
Venga.
No, parce, no.
Behind one of them, a set of dangling ornaments began to sway and shake on their own, despite there being no draft in the room. At first, they tried to brush it off, but just as the atmosphere grew tense, a small table scraped forward with a loud noise, sliding slightly in their direction. Both froze in place, eyes wide, when suddenly the kitchen drawer in the background began to open on its own. Before they could even react, an entire cupboard burst open and a handful of pots and pans clattered violently to the floor. That was enough. The sisters abandoned the chess game and ran out of the room in fear. Neither had ever experienced anything like it before, and it left them shaken about staying in the house at all. This incident came from a security team monitoring CCTV in a car park late at night. Their job tended to be very boring, but little did they know that this one was going to be spiced up a little. Have a look.
See the white thing over there? Yeah.
In the clip, a red Jeep was parked quietly among the other vehicles when, without warning, the driver's side door creaked open on its own. No one entered or exited, and the surrounding area was completely empty. The security guards watching the feed were stunned, unable to explain how it could happen when the car park was locked down and quiet. After a long pause, the door slowly shut again, closing firmly as if someone had pulled it from the inside. Later, it was revealed that the Jeep was home to the death of a cat. While the guards didn't know this at the time, some who have seen the clip believe the strange activity might have been more than just a mechanical fault, and possibly the spirit of the animal making one last return. It was a stormy night, the kind where the wind itself seemed alive, howling so aggressively it bled into the entire recording. A man decided to explore a haunted house, one that had gained a reputation in the area for strange noises and shadowy figures. He walked through the hallways that looked like the back rooms, but at first, nothing out of the ordinary happened. The only sound was the wind whistling through broken windows, rattling everything in its path. After a while, though, a piercing noise echoed through the building that sounded like a siren, the kind installed years ago to detect movement inside. That was the moment his nerves started to shift. Later, when he reviewed his footage, the most chilling detail became clear. As he pointed his camera towards a far corner, a shadow figure leaned out briefly, as if to watch him, before slipping back out of sight. He was very fortunate he left the place after the alarm went off, or who knows what could have happened. Antonio had been home alone that night when he decided to head downstairs, his phone in hand. As he reached for the switch, the lights refused to turn on, leaving only the dim glow of his camera to cut through the darkness. He kept walking cautiously until he reached the dining room, where the table sat still and untouched. That's when it happened.
Tengo mucho miedo. Me quedé solo en la casa. Me han pasado cosas desde que vi ese maldito video. Escucho cosas. No hay luz. No sé qué hacer. Escucho muchas cosas. Ay, Dios, tengo miedo. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo? ¿Quién está ahí? ¿Qué pedo?
One of the dining chairs scraped against the floor, pulling itself back slowly but deliberately, as if someone had pulled it. The sound echoed through the house, and Antonio froze in place, his breathing sharp and unsteady. The clip cuts shortly after, leaving viewers unsettled and speculating. If the chair could move with such force, what else might have been lurking in that house waiting for him? Who knows how much worse it might have gotten once the camera stopped recording. Dana had been on edge for weeks, convinced that something was off in her apartment. That night, she set her phone up while doing her makeup, determined to document what had been unsettling her.
Bueno, me puse a grabar porque estoy escuchando cosas. Entonces... el rímel. Me manché un poco. Uy, quedaron súper bonitas. Abajo también. No entiendo por qué. Mejor me hago rápido y ya me voy. Es que chicos, yo estoy sola. Voy a ir a ver. Voy a ir a ver. Sí, la verdad no sé por qué es así, pero bueno, voy a acabarme de hacer rápido, pero el pelo.
yo como que me voy así peinada porque la persona así.
As she brushed her hair back, the bangs and creaks she'd grown used to suddenly grew louder and more erratic, echoing through her place as if something invisible was pacing the walls. Just as she was about to laugh it off, she started to have a nosebleed, sending a wave of panic through her. She grabbed a tissue, went to the door, opening it to the dimly lit corridor outside. Nobody was there. The hall was empty and silent. Relieved but unnerved, she went back to do her makeup, only to see the lock on her front door start moving on its own accord. She opened it, revealing nothing but an empty hall once again. She is seriously considering moving out. Two police officers in Nayarit were on late-night patrol when they were dispatched to an elementary school after reports of strange disturbances in the area. It was 3 a.m., the streets silent, and the building was very dark from inside the gates. They parked their unit out front, one of them filming while they scanned the grounds for anything suspicious.
No manches, mira lo que estamos viendo nosotros ahorita a las 3 de la mañana.
For a brief moment, two small figures could be seen moving inside the school before quickly darting away, as though they knew they were being watched. To the officers, it appeared like children, but given the hour, the locked gates, and the emptiness of the grounds, that explanation didn't make sense. The figures were never identified, and both men later admitted they didn't believe they were dealing with real kids at all. Many believe what they saw were restless spirits, lingering within the walls of the school long after closing time. The following night, or more accurately at 2 o'clock in the morning on September 16th, the same officers returned to the elementary school, still unsettled by what they had seen the night before. This time, instead of staying in the safety of their patrol car, one of them stepped out into the cool night air and walked straight to the school's front gates.
Dale, güey, dale, vámonos, vámonos. Buenas noches, señores, buenas noches, señores. Aquí estamos grabando un videíto, otro video para todas las personas que dicen que quieren segunda parte del otro video. ¿Qué les podemos decir? Nosotros no afirmamos lo que se vio en el video, pero tampoco decimos que es falso, ¿verdad? Ahorita le vamos a mostrar la escuela por fuera, porque por dentro pues no podemos ingresar todavía, ¿verdad? Son casi las 2 de la mañana. Esta es la escuela de aquí de Nayarit. Sí se ve el video, para que no empiecen a decir que vale madre la calidad del video, ¿verdad? Esta es la escuela. Ahorita le vamos a mostrar la puerta donde se miraron lo que se miró. No quiero decir qué es lo que se miró. Es esta. Esta es la puerta. Ya está una lona que no sé qué quiere decir. Vamos a bajar. Ay, cabrón, la chingue. Ese es el cancel, ¿verdad? Esta es la escuela por dentro. Son los salones. Vamos a darle la vuelta caminando, ¿verdad? Quito otra ventana. Esta es la escuela 16 de septiembre de aquí de Nayarit, Jala, Nayarit. Vamos a darle una vuelta a la escuela. Por esta escuela, señores, nos ha tocado escuchar muchas cosas en una cancha que está allá al fondo. Allá al fondo está una cancha. Ahí donde seguido escuchamos que el balón, pues más que nada, a esta hora, que andan jugando fútbol, básquetbol, y pues realmente no, pues no es nada, ¿verdad? Pronto estaremos adentro ya que nos den chance a las autoridades para poder meternos, ¿verdad? ¿Qué le podemos decir, señores? No, yo no quiero que me crean de lo que se vio, ¿verdad? Nosotros tomamos unas fotos a las escuelas y es lo que se vio en su momento. No es cámara profesional, para que no empiecen a decir que no se ve nada, pero pues ahí les dejo este video para que ustedes mismos chequen, saquen sus conclusiones, vean qué puede ser. Pues así que aquí por afuera pues no se puede ver mucho, ¿verdad? Pero pronto andaremos por dentro. Este fue aquí el zaguán, ¿verdad? Ahí nos guachamos para la próxima, señores. Ahí estamos, pendientones. Y para los que no creen, pues nada más no crean, pero pues tampoco insulten, ¿verdad? Porque pues ninguna mordida le pedimos a las personitas esas. ¿Cómo crees que la vamos a andar pidiendo mordida? Saludos, señores.
His flashlight swept over the empty yard beyond, the silence almost suffocating. No movement, no sign of anyone inside. Wanting a better look, he circled part of the perimeter until he came to a section of wall with barred windows, large enough to peer through. He pressed his face close to the cold metal with his phone camera on the other side, but again, nothing happened. The officer filming explained to viewers that, as officers, they would eventually be allowed to enter the school officially, but not yet. For now, all they could do was watch from the outside, waiting for the chance to investigate what truly hides within the grounds of the school. Ian, better known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, has spent countless nights exploring the eeriest places across the country, and this abandoned theater has already given him plenty of reasons to return.
I heard you loud and clear. It literally came from up here, and it echoed. Oh my God, that perfume smell is getting stronger up here. Hello? Oh, holy shit! Oh my God! Dude! I just fucking saw her right there! It looked like a woman in a dress. She walked into the hallway. I gotta follow her. She went down this way. Oh my God, every hair on my body is standing on end. Where'd you go? I saw you go this way. feel like I heard her say Mabel. It sounded like an M. Now that I think about it, that voice from earlier, it sounded like Mabel. I'm smelling that perfume smell again. Holy shit! Holy shit! No freaking way! Look at that! That thing just came undone! I'm at a loss for words. She just peeked around at me from this curtain.
He slowly makes his way up the grand staircase. He mentions quietly that he just heard a voice echo above him, and as he climbs higher, he pauses, sniffing the air. There's a sudden, strong scent of perfume, completely out of place in such a decayed building. For a moment, nothing happened, but then, a figure he described as a woman in what looked like a dress stepped into the hallway ahead, completely silent. Ian bolted forward, his voice rising as he asked where it went. He turned a corner, his light catching the theater's old dressing rooms, and just as he reached one, the curtain across the far wall pulled itself back with no one touching it. Ian froze in fear. Subscribe if you want to see what happens next, because Ian's not done with this haunted theater. Matty had been spending a quiet evening at home when she started to hear strange noises outside. At first, it sounded almost like a man mumbling, low and muffled, but she couldn't quite make out the words. Curiosity and a touch of fear got the better of her, so she grabbed a flashlight and her phone before stepping out the front door, shutting it firmly behind her.
Hearing the craziest noises. Listen. I gotta check this out. Ruby. Where the f did it go? What the? Oh my God. Hello? Is anyone there? Oh my God. Holy shit. Thought I heard those noises again.
I heard them last night.
I didn't see anything, but I wanted to just look.
Probably just an animal or something.
Yeah. I keep seeing all those cats.
The camera picked up the sound of bushes rustling nearby, and Matty moved quickly, scanning around them with her light, her voice shaky as she tried to call out. Just when she thought maybe it was nothing, she spun around while still recording, and in that pan across the yard, the lens caught something ducking back behind a tree. The figure moved fast enough that it could almost be dismissed, but its shape was far too uncanny to ignore. Afterwards, Matty's boyfriend insisted that it was probably just an animal startled by the flashlight. Still, Matty couldn't shake the feeling that what she saw wasn't any animal at all. Hugo and two of his friends had always laughed at the idea of ghosts, so when they heard about a supposedly haunted house nearby, they decided to go check it out for themselves. None of them expected much, other than just a night of fun, a little adrenaline, and maybe a good story to tell afterward. When they entered the building, they found it in shambles, with broken furniture, dust, and debris scattered everywhere. They explored room after room, joking and pointing out the eerie state of the place, still convinced nothing supernatural would come of it.
Casi brugada. Loco, pero porque yo tengo que ir al frente. Vengan, culero. Loco, espérate.
¿Por qué no se puede?
Loco, yo siento como que alguien los está viendo de adentro. Aquella. Yo. Dale, loco, vete al frente.
Y luego tú me siento como que ando en El Salvador, ¿no? Te digo algo, Hugo. Como yo soy el único que no está grabando. ¿Tú lo estás grabando? Nosotros dos somos los que vamos a ver esto más rápido que
Mira, grafiten hecho ahí, qué vergüenza.
Esta mierda. No, güey, aquí debe haber cosas raras.
Dale, loco, vamos.
Ey, ya. Con respeto, no conocemos así. Es que mira cómo está
Güey, esta mierda se nos va a caer encima.
Dale, dale.
Ten cuidado, viejo. Ey, tengan cuidado donde pisan, loco.
Para todos lados, ¿no? Ey, loco, tú me siento como que ando en El Salvador, loco.
Te digo algo, Hugo. Como yo soy el único que no está grabando. ¿Tú estás grabando? Nosotros dos somos los que vamos a ver esto más rápido que
Mira, grafiten hecho ahí, qué vergüenza.
Esta mierda. No, güey, aquí debe haber cosas raras.
Dale, loco, vamos.
¿Qué pasó, loco?
Que vamos, bro.
Cuidado, güey.
Ey, pero no va a caer este techo, güey. Sí, pues las tablas no creo un fierro lo que tiene.
But at the very end of their footage, a brief and chilling image appeared. A faint figure, resembling a ghostly woman, seemed to be standing inside the building with them. Her outline was visible enough to send shivers down viewers' spines, but the group themselves hadn't noticed it at the time. They left the house still laughing, unaware of how close they might have actually come to something paranormal. What they dismissed as a harmless adventure may have been far more real than they realized. HRJ Paranormal Adventures uploaded a video titled Part 2 of 3 Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, continuing their exploration of the infamous location. The team had already captured unsettling activity in the first part, and this segment only added more fuel to the fire.
So, do you know who was down the hall that was touching all the people?
As one of the women entered a room, she panned her camera slowly around to show viewers what it looked like inside. At first glance, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, just another empty space in a decaying hospital. But if you paid close enough attention, something chilling could be spotted. Behind the glass, faint but unmistakable, sat the figure of a woman in an office chair. Her presence lasted only for a moment, turning away before fading completely as the camera swept across her. The team didn't seem to notice at the time, but the replay made it impossible to ignore. Viewers flooded the comments with their own theories, convinced that this was one of the clearest captures the group had ever recorded. HRJ Paranormal Adventures confirmed that this investigation wasn't over yet, and that the story would continue in their future videos, so be sure to subscribe and watch my videos so you don't miss it. On Thursday, August 10th of 2015, a corner store security camera recorded something that has left both staff and viewers disturbed. At first, the footage seemed normal, showing empty aisles late at night, but then it became clear something strange was happening. A strange, oversized shadow-like blob began moving across the shelves, not in the shape of a person, but something far more unnatural. As it shifted along, items began to fall over without anyone touching them, including things such as produce rolling across the floor, random balls moving on their own, and smaller goods scattering down the aisle. The employees who reviewed the tape the next day were shaken, unsure how to even begin explaining what they had seen. The manager, visibly stressed, admitted he was less concerned about whether it was paranormal and more focused on the aftermath. With merchandise all over the floor and customers starting to whisper about the haunting, he's been trying to find a cleanser willing to deal with the spirit in order to help banish it. Who knows how that will go, though. A babysitter was going about what she thought would be a normal night's work when she stumbled onto something she'll never forget. The kids were asleep, the house was quiet, but as she walked through some of the rooms, she noticed something strange.
I'm babysitting and I just found the creepiest thing. Look at this.
What is that? Oh my god. No, but what is it? It's so creepy. It's freaking me out. Is this real hair? Oh my god. And look. Ugh. Guys, I just came in to make dinner and look what I found. Another one. Oh my gosh. It's a boy this time. Oh my god. Why would you look at that? Why would anyone have this in their house? Honestly, it's the creepiest thing I've ever seen. Oh my god, it has another bell. Oh my god. Guys, guess who I am? The light started going insane. Let me show you. Okay, wait for it because it was literally just happening a second ago. Max? Better not be out of bed. Okay, I think I'm just gonna get him and go because it's really freaking me out.
There were two doll-like figures leaning face first against the wall in separate rooms, and what made it worse was that they both had real human hair attached to them. Unsettled but curious, she set up a camera facing a mirror, imitating one of the dolls to see if anything unusual would happen. What the footage showed shocked her massively. Reflected in the mirror, one of the dolls suddenly sprinted into another room despite being stationary in real life. After that, she began to notice their positions shifting around the house without her ever touching them. At that point, she decided enough was enough and made for the door. But before she could leave, every single light in the house suddenly turned off at once, plunging her into darkness. For the babysitter, what started as just another job became a nightmarish experience that still haunts her. The following footage wasn't filmed in a single night, but instead collected over the course of 2 months. It came from the security cameras of a man's home, where he had grown convinced something paranormal was going on. He wanted enough evidence to finally bring in professional help, so he kept his cameras rolling constantly, documenting everything he could. In week 1, the activity began with his pantry door swinging open and slamming shut by itself, followed almost immediately by the faint, unsettling sound of a child's toy playing music, even though no one was near it. Weeks passed with smaller disturbances, but by week 8, the activity escalated. A glass suddenly tipped and fell from the counter, shattering across the floor, while the chandelier overhead started to sway and rattle without any draft or reason. The final straw of that night came when a chair slowly dragged itself back from under the dining table, inch by inch, as though someone invisible was pulling it. Despite all of this, the man, whose name is JP, was told it still isn't enough hard evidence for most ghost hunters to intervene. They need more before they'll take on the case. So for now, JP continues to collect footage, hoping that the next clip will finally prove once and for all what he already knows is haunting his home. Two men were exploring what locals claimed to be a haunted facility, and the deeper they went, the heavier the atmosphere became. The silence was thick until suddenly, one of them stopped and pointed. He swore he had just heard a strange noise coming from behind the heavy curtains near the church area of the building.
Oh my god. These things are everywhere. Cold as hell. No, I hear something. I heard something. Get out. What the fuck is shit? Something. Don't move!
They cautiously approached, hearts pounding, and one of them mustered the courage to quickly yank the curtains back. Behind them wasn't anything menacing, but rather an old, dust-covered playroom filled with forgotten toys and faded furniture. They searched it quickly, trying to convince themselves there was nothing sinister about the noise. But just as they were about to leave, something happened that sent them both running. Across the room stood a small toy house, its roof painted pink, with its tiny door left open. Without warning, the door suddenly slammed shut with force, as if someone inside had pushed it closed. The two men didn't wait to see what would happen next. They bolted out of the room and out of the facility entirely, convinced they'd gotten too close to whatever haunted the place. C's Crazy Crossroads, the ghost hunter with nearly 50,000 subscribers who has appeared in past videos, had already been through several terrifying moments earlier that same day at the contractor's haunted house. He'd heard unexplained noises, seen objects move, and felt the kind of chill that tells you something isn't right. By the time of his next clip, you could tell he was still shaken, but determined to keep filming.
I'm glad you guys didn't see that, because it was definitely scary as hell, so. Oh, see, look at that fucking ladder move! I'm telling you, there's something in here. There's something in here. This place is so friggin' creepy, there's something in here. Holy shit! Guys, I don't understand this. Ah! Me!
This time, while searching another part of the house, he came across an old ladder leaning against the wall. At first, it was just part of the clutter, nothing unusual, but as his camera stayed fixed on it, the ladder began to tremble on its own, rattling hard enough that it could have toppled. He froze, audibly nervous, admitting how much it rattled him to see something that heavy moving without a person near it. After everything else that had already happened, this was the moment that pushed his fear through the roof. He said later that it was the closest he'd come to just leaving his gear behind and walking straight out, and viewers could see why. The activity wasn't slowing down at all, but instead, it was escalating. Can you spot what happens in this clip? A duo made up of a man and a woman decided to explore a haunted farmhouse that locals had long whispered about. They weren't casual thrill seekers either, because they came fully prepared with equipment, determined to capture anything unusual that might happen. The video caption explained that this was actually their return trip to the location, this time with a brand new camera they had just picked up. They admitted they hadn't even worked out all the settings yet, but promised their viewers that future uploads would include extremely clear footage and even night vision. As they started to set up for the night in front of the camera, something truly unsettling happened. For just a split second, a shadow figure appeared in the window directly behind them, before vanishing without a trace. It was so fast that many viewers missed it on the first watch, but when slowed down, the shape of a figure becomes clear. The fact that the pair had no idea what was happening behind them only added to the unease. With the promise of even clearer footage in their next investigations, this was only the beginning of what could be a chilling series. Megan was finally enjoying a quiet night to herself, house-sitting and catching up on a movie she had been meaning to watch for ages. She settled in with the TV, the lights low, and everything felt normal at first. Out of nowhere, a chilling voice broke through the speakers. saying, "Any way I can make you more comfortable?" Megan froze instantly, because not only was that voice not part of the opening scene, but when she restarted the movie, the line was completely gone. She checked, rewound, and even tried again, but the words were nowhere to be found. The incident shook her badly. What disturbed her the most wasn't just hearing the voice, but realizing it had come through so clearly, as if someone was right there in the room with her. She admitted afterward that she thought maybe it was a glitch at first, but the more she replayed the scene and compared it, the more impossible that explanation became. With no logical answer, Megan was left uneasy in a house that wasn't even her own, constantly glancing over her shoulder for the rest of the night. She later said she cut the movie short and kept every light on until morning, too unsettled to close her eyes. Even days later, she couldn't shake the feeling that the voice wasn't part of the film at all, but something else was trying to reach her. The Circus siblings family on TikTok had been telling their followers for weeks that their home was haunted, but naturally, plenty of people demanded proof. So one evening, they decided to record a video to put all doubts to rest.
Joe, try it. See,
I will open that door.
Stop it, Bailey.
That doesn't work. It just does it when it does it. So it's not me.
What? Try it again.
It's not me.
Open the door.
Shut the door. Shut the door.
Open the door.
Oh, it's a ghost.
What?
Yeah, see, it's not me. Just do it when I do it.
Open the door. Let's see. Oh, open that door.
Tristan, are you really not fucking around?
Oh my god, it opened again. That wasn't
Holy
me.
shit.
I freaking want to hold the door closed. All right, hold the door open.
You can hear it click and everything. It's shut.
Why is it not open?
That's just a ghost.
Before anything started, the father made a point of jumping, slamming doors, and making big movements around the room to prove that what was about to happen wasn't caused by him. Once everyone settled down, the room grew quiet. Then one of the children, with a mix of bravery and curiosity, asked out loud for the ghost to open the door. For a few seconds, nothing happened, but suddenly the door creaked open just a crack on its own. Many viewers commented that this was the first clip that truly convinced them something strange was going on inside the Circus siblings' home. It left their audience eager to see what they would capture next. For those of you that don't believe it, the family had more proof ready. This time, the Circus siblings showed footage from a second camera they had set up inside the room. The angle captured the door from the other side perfectly. Then, just like before, the door slowly creaked open on its own. There was no one pushing, pulling, or even close enough to touch it. The family pointed out that setting up a second camera was the only way to silence the doubters, and sure enough, it made the whole situation even creepier. With two different perspectives showing the same unexplained movement, many viewers agreed there was no way this could be faked so easily. The Circus siblings had managed to capture something genuinely eerie, and it raised even more questions about what was really haunting their home. Luan was lying in bed late at night, recording casually after days of feeling like something wasn't right in his room. He wanted to prove to himself that it was just his imagination, but instead, he caught something terrifying.
Ese ruido es del techo. No sé qué esté pasando, pero sí me siento nervioso. Vamos a ver. No inventes. Se abrió la puerta. Se abrió la puerta como la última vez. Déjenme calmo, déjenme calmo, déjenme calmo. Déjenme calmo. No hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada. Se abrió la de abajo, se abrió la de abajo. Vamos a ver, vamos a ver. esta zona. Yo no sé qué está pasando. Uy, los perros. Uy. Uy, los perros.
At first, the cupboard door creaked open by itself, which was enough to make him sit up. Seconds later, another door, this time another cupboard from the very same unit, suddenly opened itself without any human interaction and no visible force. Confused and visibly shaken, Lewin leaned forward to look around the room. That's when the most chilling part happened. The camera briefly captured an uncanny face flashing into frame for less than a second before vanishing. The clip was short, but extremely disturbing, leaving viewers replaying it over and over to confirm what they saw. Many agreed it was one of the scariest captures they'd come across, and Lewin himself admitted he had no explanation for what appeared in his room that night. A ghost hunter was exploring an old church late at night, armed only with his camera and a flashlight. The air inside was heavy, and the building was mostly dark with a small window radiating cool lighting. The atmosphere felt like something spooky was just around the corner. As he walked around the church bells suddenly began to ring, echoing through the empty halls. The sound alone was enough to raise the hair on his neck, but then something far worse happened. Around one of the stone corners, a face could be seen peeking out at him, watching silently. Summoning his courage, the ghost hunter moved quickly toward the corner, determined to confront whatever was there. But just as he reached it, the face slipped out of sight, and behind the pillar was nothing but darkness. With no explanation for what he had just witnessed, he was left shaken, convinced he had just come face to face with a ghost outside of the church. MC Devil 666 on TikTok had been warning his followers that a Welly shelf in his home was haunted. According to him, the boots had been falling from it time and time again, but always when the camera wasn't rolling. When he told his wife about it, she laughed it off and teased him for being paranoid. Determined to prove himself right, he set up his phone and started recording, openly calling out to the ghost and asking it to push one of the Wellys down.
No, hijo de su puta madre.
Sure enough, one of the boots suddenly tipped and fell from the shelf with nobody near it. Shocked but satisfied, he took the footage straight to his wife to prove he hadn't been imagining things. Instead of laughing this time, she went quiet, replaying the moment again and again before walking away unsettled. For MC Devil 666, this was all the proof he needed, but he admitted later that the incident put a serious strain on their relationship. He said he couldn't live with someone who dismissed what was happening in front of their eyes so he decided to leave her behind. The Welly shelf had done more than just confirm a haunting, it had ended his marriage. Lynn worked as an assistant teacher at a small school in Asia, where most days passed by quietly with lessons, laughter, and the usual chatter of children. One afternoon, she was sitting outside with some of the kids, enjoying the calm atmosphere, when something strange caught their attention.
Pamisa sa kalag ni Monsilo ang nagpamisa, Rosti Kumungan. Pamisa sa kalag ni Monsilo, Eustachio, Segundina, Rafaela, Serapia, Vicente, Juana, Tomas, Patricia, Yopanis, Nicolas.
One of the students pointed toward the distance, so Lynn lifted her phone and zoomed in to see what it was. To her shock, the camera revealed a pale face staring back. It was clearly not human, as the features resembled that of a female ghost. Unnerving and unnatural in every way. Not wanting to frighten the children, Lynn kept calm, said nothing, and guided their attention elsewhere. Later, though, she shared the footage on social media, where it quickly spread. People online debated what she had captured, but what's most surprising is that after this single chilling moment, nothing unusual ever happened at that school again. It was as if the ghost had made one brief appearance and then vanished, never to return. C's Crazy Crossroads, the ghost hunter with more than 50,000 subscribers, returned in another terrifying compilation from the same haunted property. He reintroduced the setting for new viewers, explaining that this was the infamous contractor's haunted house, a place he had already experienced some strange things in. This time, the activity was even harder to ignore.
I love it. After it's all said and done, I'm very happy when stuff happens, but in the moment, it's not fun. Oh, that son of a, that was me. All right, I don't know if you guys heard that. It was it sounded like a door shaking or something. As I was talking man, what has gone on in here? What happened in this house? Maybe it's just the people that have passed on here don't want anybody coming in their house because it's been sitting for so long. Maybe they're still here. Listen. It's right here. It's right here.
While filming, he suddenly heard loud knocking, followed by an unsettling series of shaking sounds from somewhere nearby. He ran straight toward the noise with his camera rolling, determined to catch the source, but when he got there, the rooms were completely empty. Just as he was about to settle down, another sound cut through the silence. The knocks returned, this time coming from above his head, as if something was moving around in the attic. With nobody else in the house and no explanation for what he was hearing, the tension was overwhelming. Fans of C's Crazy Crossroads agreed that this was one of his clearest captures yet, and many believe the haunted house is only beginning to reveal its secrets. A man's wife had just left for work, leaving him home alone for the day. At first, everything seemed normal. He enjoyed the quiet, scrolled on his phone, and went about his morning without a second thought. But after a few hours, the atmosphere shifted, and something happened that shook him to the core.
I just want to let you guys know, like, I'm home alone. There's nobody here. Whoa,
From the bathroom door came a series of knocks, clear and deliberate. He grabbed his camera and began filming, his voice uneasy as he explained the situation to the audience. To test it, he knocked 3 times back against the door. What followed stunned him. The exact same 3 knocks echoed back from the other side. Gathering what little courage he had, he slowly opened the door and stepped inside, only to find nothing at all. The bathroom was empty, silent and still, yet the feeling that he wasn't alone lingered heavily in the air. Dean was working his usual night shift as a security guard at the mall, a job that often left him with long stretches of silence and empty hallways. He never minded the quiet until strange things began to happen after dark. At first, it was small things such as distant creaks and the sound of something faintly tapping, but soon the noises grew harder to ignore. Determined to prove he wasn't imagining it, Dean pulled out his phone and began recording.
Let them know where I'm at. Dude, like, I'm so on edge now. So freaking on edge. It's creepy, man. It's so freaking creepy. I don't know. Dude, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? What the hell was that? What the heck? These freaking chairs just moved. What the Okay. I'm done. Nope.
The footage starts with him walking through a corridor when a loud dragging sound echoes nearby. The unmistakable noise of something heavy like a table being pulled across the floor. He quickly pans around, but nothing looks out of place. Just as he tries to calm himself, a chair in front of him suddenly slides forward. Then again, moving twice on its own with no one near it, Dean's breathing grows heavier, and the fear takes over. Without waiting to see what might happen next, he bolts from the area, his footsteps pounding as the clip ends. A ghost hunter with a very small subscriber count decided to explore an old castle said to hold dark history, hoping to capture something that would finally prove to his audience that the stories were real. From the very start of his recording, the tension was there from the sheer atmosphere of the place.
First of all, watch the outside window. There seemed to be a face peering in. But watch as I turn the camera, there's a figure by the wall.
In that very first pan, a faint face could be seen in one of the windows, almost too uncanny to be human. The clip then cuts to another pan from a different angle, and again, another faint figure could be seen inside the castle, as if it was watching him move around the grounds. The hunter was frightened at the time. Fortunately though, he pressed on, determined to keep filming. This isn't the end of his investigation, and the story inside the castle is only just beginning, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the continuation of this story in one of my next videos. Kokoko, a channel known for exploring eerie, abandoned places, recently uploaded footage from an abandoned hotel that had been empty for several years. The building itself was in total disarray, with debris scattered across the floors and walls crumbling from neglect.
開けたり足音だったりなんかどかしたり普通に誰かとバッティングしてる可能性はあるんで、
バッティングだったらまだいいけど、
もしちょっと出くわしたらこんにちはって感じで
笑顔で。
ガラスがめちゃめちゃあるんで、うわどうなってるんですか。迷路だな本当に。入り組んでますよ、長年手つかずだったところが去年の秋に解体が始まって、
去年2018年の秋頃に、違う6月か6月に始まって去年の2018年の秋頃に、
それがピタッと止まった、
ピタッと止まっちゃったんだよね。これから8階に帰ります。屋上か。屋上か。
As the group made their way toward the rooftop on the 8th floor, the camera happened to catch something unsettling. In the frame, a shadowy figure could be seen standing in a doorway, though none of the explorers noticed it in the moment. It was only after the video was uploaded that viewers began pointing it out, confirming that the figure had been captured on film. The team didn't react at the time, but the discovery has left everyone shaken since. This moment is just one part of the investigation, and I promise that this video is going to be revisited and covered more in future uploads on my channel. Octavio was home alone when her dogs suddenly started barking non-stop, their attention fixed on something downstairs. Curious and a little uneasy, she went to check and was stunned to see a pair of red gates she kept inside her home moving in a mysterious way on their own. Wanting proof, she set her camera up on a table and caught the unsettling moment on video. The gates swung back and forth without anyone near them, leaving no explanation for the movement. Octavio admitted afterward that the experience left her shaken, and now she's looking for a ghost hunter to help get rid of whatever is haunting her home. I wish them all of the luck I can possibly give on banishing the spirit, because nobody deserves to live with something like that. Ragalzu has appeared before on this channel when he returned to the school he once attended and caught terrifying proof that it was haunted. But this clip that I am about to expose your eyes to is different, because it didn't happen at the school, but it actually happened in his own home. After leaving that place behind, Ragalzu always feared the ghost might have followed him, and one night he decided to record in his bedroom just to be sure.
¿Qué quieren que vea?
No, miedo no tengo. Siguen aquí. Siguen aquí. Me acaban de abrir el caño.
The footage shows his wardrobe door creaking open at a decent pace, even though he was alone in the room. Just seconds later, the bedroom door slams shut violently, as if something wanted him trapped inside. Finally, an object falls on its own, and then a shadow can be seen peeking out from behind his chair. For anyone who doubts what he caught before, this video adds a chilling layer, proving that the haunting may have followed him home. Ragalzu's story didn't end with his bedroom doors moving on their own though. Just a few nights later, while he was asleep, strange noises woke him up again, and this time, they were way more mysterious. At first, he tried to ignore them, but they grew louder until he decided to get out of bed and investigate.
¿Cuál es esta habitación? Sí. ¿Macumba dijeron? ¿Puedes volver a cerrar la puerta? Se desenfocó la cámara. Ya estoy aquí adentro. Ahí. Mira. Salgan. No, déjame cambiar la cámara, quiero ver aquí. La vez pasada se vio una cara detrás mío, quiero ver si vuelve a aparecer. Tómalo. Uy, acaban de... Miren, Ahí está.
As he left his room, one of the nearby doors suddenly slammed shut with no one else around. He cautiously pushed it open and stepped inside. But once he was deep in the room, the door closed behind him on its own, trapping him for a moment. Eventually, he plucked up the courage to approach the door to leave, shaken and unsure what he had just experienced. The footage ends there, and with no further updates since then, it's clear this may not be the end of Ragalzu's haunting. Ian, also known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, has spent years traveling to some of the creepiest abandoned places across the Midwest, sharing his solo investigations with those brave enough to follow his adventures. In this continuation of his exploration of the old abandoned theater, Ian found himself lingering near the main staircase after a series of strange encounters earlier in the night.
Okay, I'm hearing weird noises up there. It sounds like there's somebody up there. What the hell was that? God, guys, it literally sounds like she's coming down these stairs. I smell perfume. What the heck? I smell perfume. And it's starting to feel colder in here, too. Ma'am, you don't have to be shy. Feel free to come down and talk to me. Madam, what's your name? Oh my God. I heard that. That was a lady's voice. Thank you, ma'am. I heard you loud and clear.
As he stood there, he began to hear odd noises coming from upstairs, so he raised his camera and snapped a few pictures into the dark. That's when the atmosphere shifted. Disembodied footsteps echoed, coming down the stairs toward him, though nobody was visible. The air grew noticeably colder, and a faint scent of perfume surrounded him, as if someone had just walked past. Then, clear as day, a woman's voice whispered the name Mabel. The theater's history is full of mysteries, but Ian had never encountered anything this direct before. This specific clip ended there, but Ian was rattled, however, still determined to press on. Subscribe, because this story is far from finished, and Ian's next video will continue to uncover what haunts this theater. CCTV footage inside a quiet home recently captured something strange that left both the owners and viewers online disturbed. It starts off innocently enough, with the family dog wandering out of a room in the middle of the day. Just as the dog passes through the doorway, the gate-style doors begin to close on their own, slowly narrowing the frame. Nobody else is seen in the footage, no drafts are evident, and the dog immediately stops in its tracks, as if it senses something unnatural. The odd behavior of the animal paired with the unexplained movement of the gate left many unsettled. What makes this clip even stranger is that the owners claim this wasn't the first time their dog had acted unusual near that exact doorway. They said he often barked at it late at night or refused to cross it unless coaxed, something they had previously chalked up to pet anxiety. But after reviewing this footage, they aren't so sure anymore. Some viewers suggested the dog was reacting to a presence unseen by humans, while others speculated it could be tied to the home's history. Either way, the uneasy reaction of the dog makes the unexplained movement of the doors feel less like a coincidence and more like a sign of something lurking in the house. CCTV footage from the same home continued to raise alarm only a few nights later. This time, the family's dog was resting inside its cage, which was considered its safe spot where it usually felt most comfortable.
Hey, just want to hop on here and explain some things about the ghost and my dog. So my dog is crate trained from his previous owner. That's the safe spot. That's where he goes when it's chaos in the house with all the children, or we have company that he doesn't like. He just goes in there and chills. So that's why he sleeps in his crate. It's his safe spot. Anyway, so what you didn't see in this video is after these slight movements of the door handle, he gets up, he's wagging his tail, he is ready to go. He only starts whimpering when it doesn't open for him. So I come out, make him go potty, and you would not know anything was wrong with him. He is ready to go back in that crate. He fell asleep. I checked the camera. That night, there have been a few other things happening in the house. If you look at my older videos, and he is super chill in like the door video. And as far as the kitchen video, we have had so many things get pushed off of that countertop, and he gobbles it up. He gobbles it up. He is there waiting for it to fall. And so I think him and the ghost are like BFFs for life, or afterlife. Just had to put that dad joke in there. Sorry. Anyway, he's fine.
At first, everything appeared normal until the handle of the cage suddenly twitched, making the dog sit up straight and fix its gaze on the movement. For a moment, nothing else happened, but then the handle shifted again, this time pushing itself back down. The dog stayed frozen, ears perked and body tense, clearly aware something wasn't right. As the clip goes on, the crate door handle keeps moving in small but deliberate motions, as if someone unseen were tampering with it. Many viewers began speculating that this could be tied to a past owner, possibly one who had passed away, returning in some unsettling way to interact with the animal. Claymore had grown used to the uneasy feeling of being alone in his house late at night, but the basement always carried a different kind of weight. It was a place he avoided unless necessary, filled with old boxes, pipes, and shadows that seemed to stretch longer than they should. At 4:53 in the morning, he found himself wide awake when the sound of heavy knocks echoed from the basement door. This wasn't the first time he'd heard it, but on this particular night, he decided to capture the proof.
Alright, so that right there is my basement door, right? I'm downstairs by myself. It's like 4:53 in the morning, and I just started hearing that. I have no idea what it is, but I'm down here by myself. Everybody's sleeping, just me. Ain't the first time I heard this shit either.
As he held his camera, the banging grew more distinct, and it was very hard to miss. What made it worse was his certainty that nobody else was in the house. Claymore admitted later into the clip that the sounds had happened before, often in the dead of night when silence made every echo worse. Whether it was coincidence, pipes, or something paranormal trying to reach out, he couldn't shake the dread of knowing the basement seemed to be alive with its own intentions. The next day, Claymore was working late at his PC when the familiar sound returned. The basement door began to knock again, steady and deliberate, pulling his attention away from the glow of his monitor. At first, he tried to ignore it, but the noise persisted until he finally stood, grabbing his camera as proof.
Alright, you guys are in luck. You wanted it, right? There it is. Ain't me knocking on shit. Ain't nobody down here, right? Now, you guys are gonna say, oh, it's somebody in there, it's an animal. Nope. Let's go.
So who's down here? Nobody. Nobody down here? Nobody downstairs? I don't want to hear none of that bullshit about, oh, it's somebody. Ain't f***ing. We hear that shit every single night.
He walked slowly toward the door, his steps hesitant. With one hand, he pulled it open, flicked on the light, and revealed the stairs leading to the basement. Heart pounding, he began his descent, his camera catching every creak of the steps as he scanned the space below. The basement was silent. Nothing out of place, no sign of movement or presence. After pacing around and confirming nobody was hiding, he turned back and walked up the stairs, shutting the door behind him. The unease lingered, though, and the sense that something had wanted him down there, but disappeared the moment he arrived. After this, he thought the ordeal was over, but only a short while later, the noises returned. This time, the sound wasn't coming from the basement door, but from the bathroom wall. It started as faint thuds and quickly turned into aggressive knocking that seemed to echo through the small space.
Alright, so I was hearing that knocking again, right? Except this time it's coming from that wall right there, which is my downstairs bathroom. And after a while I started hearing tapping on the bathroom door as well. So, what else? Record. See if anything else happens. I mean, I hear the shit every night. It's okay, that's never happened before. Now I have to go check it out, otherwise you guys are gonna be like, oh, it's probably somebody in there. Let's go see. I'll show you guys right now. Ain't nobody in this mother. And it is empty. Yeah, no, that one was weird. That's never actually happened before. That's new, at least.
He turned his camera toward the bathroom, and through the small crack of the door, the light inside could be seen flicking on and off, almost as if someone was toying with the switch from within. Gathering what courage he had left, he got up, pushed the door open, and stepped inside with the camera. The bathroom was completely empty. Nothing out of place, no reason for the sounds or the lights to behave that way. Shaken to his core, he's now seriously considering moving out, knowing his sense of safety has been completely taken from the home. Patrick had always hated going into his basement, but one night curiosity got the better of him. He unlocked the basement door, shut it firmly behind him, and started recording as he walked into the strange, unfinished space. The concrete walls and dim lighting gave it the unsettling look of something straight out of the back rooms, stretching into a narrow corridor that seemed far too long for a house basement. As he made his way down, the camera caught a shadow suddenly dashing across behind the corner at the very end of the hallway. His breathing quickened as he crept forward, determined to see what it was. But when he turned the corner, there was nothing there, just more empty walls and silence pressing in around him. The clip ends before anything else happens, but Patrick later explained that seconds after cutting the camera, fear overtook him and he bolted up the stairs, convinced that something was following close behind. A family had been searching tirelessly for their missing cat, putting up flyers, calling shelters, and setting up trail cameras around their property in the hopes of spotting it. Most nights the cameras picked up nothing unusual, just wind moving through the grass or the occasional animal passing by. But one evening, while the parents were working in the garage, one of the trail cams triggered, and what it captured left them speechless. The footage showed a strange white apparition suddenly appearing at the edge of the frame. At first glance, it looked like a mist, but when paused, the outline was far too defined. It resembled the shape of a human, faint and pale. The clip cut off just as the figure fully entered the shot, giving viewers no chance to see what might have happened next. The family was shaken, insisting that no one else was outside at the time. Their cat never returned, and with no explanation for the ghostly image, they've been left wondering if its disappearance is connected to something far more unsettling. At first, it seemed like a normal workday for the man, clocking into his shift and heading toward the lockers in the back room. Nothing out of the ordinary had happened all morning, and he wasn't expecting anything either. But while walking past the row of metal lockers, one of them slowly creaked open all by itself.
¿Por qué haces esto? ¿En qué puedo ayudarte? ¿Qué necesitas? Dime, ¿necesitas algo? ¿En qué puedo ayudarte? Pero no me hagas esto. ¿En qué puedo ayudarte?
He sat down and stayed there in disbelief for a moment, then nervously asked out loud how he could help and what the ghost needed from him. Almost as if in direct response, the locker door slowly shut again, this time leaving a slight crack, as though inviting him to keep engaging. Unsure, he asked again, wanting to see if it was truly connected to something paranormal. That's when the door suddenly swung open again, only to slam shut with far more force than before. His shock was obvious, and though he didn't run, he quickly backed away from the row of lockers. Later, he told his manager everything, showing the footage as proof. His manager has since confirmed they are waiting on an official investigation into what exactly is happening back there, leaving everyone at the workplace on edge.